here with Bradley. This is Kicking Facts. Now, before we get into it, this is our first episode. A lot of things that we're going to say, people might not agree with. And it's the reason why I call it Kicking Facts. It's Kicking Facts based upon my thoughts and in reality. You can not feel some kind of way about what we're saying or how I'm saying it, but you won't be able to dispute the statistics when we give you statistics and the reasoning why. Now, it's facts only if it's facts backed up by reality. Now, the difference between facts and non-facts is it will be your opinion. These are not just my opinion. These are basic reasons why things are the way they are. There's a difference between an excuse. An excuse is just like a fairy tale or something somebody made up. But a fact is something that can be argued but rarely disputed. Now, I'm here with my man Brad. He's going to give me some perspectives on what I'm saying. We can do a quick dialogue. Any comments that you have on what we're talking about, leave them in the comment section. And today's topic is going to be women raising men. Now, this is a very hot button topic because today's society does not appreciate the father or the male in a man's in the upbringing of a child. So this is why, especially a boy, this is why we're going to talk about this first. It's going to be, I think it's a really good topic to talk about because especially the way things are going today, we're going to get into a little bit more. But first, I'm going to let Brad introduce himself.
I'm Brad. That's about it. You'll get to know me by the end of this podcast.
All right. Now, the first thing is there's a lot of reasons why women should not raise men. And the first one I'm going to give you is I'm going to go from 1 all the way up to probably 5. And number 5 is they don't understand what they're doing as far as raising a child. They're not raising a child. They're raising a grown man. It's just like when a chick comes out of the egg. It's a chick now, but it's going to be, if it's not eaten alive, a full-grown chicken. And that's the problem with women. They look at boys as their babies. And they look at them as their babies. They look at them as these little kids that aren't going to grow up to be grown, sexually active, aggressive fathers and men. So they don't prepare them. So they don't look at them like that until it's too late. Which is one of the reasons why women are always shocked and amazed that their sons grow up to be either disrespectful or controversial, or they have a lot of kids, yada yada yada. So that's the biggest problem. That's not the biggest problem. That's one of the main problems, that women don't respect that they are raising a grown man. They will treat a child like a child. They will treat a baby like a baby. But none of that prepares them to be a man. And when they become, manhood comes, they're unprepared because they don't have their father preparing them. And that's one of the very underlying factors, because women have this underlying thing that about them that they can do everything. And it's a myth. Women can't do everything. Y'all can't do everything a man does. You want to do it. In your psyche, you think that you can do everything to a man, for a man, raise kids. No. And you actually think that you have to, but you really don't, and you really shouldn't. So, like I say, number 5 would be, if I'm going from 5 to 1, would be that they don't understand what they're doing by raising a man. They're not raising a child. They're not raising a baby. They're raising a grown man. And every action that a father does, when a father raises a child, he prepares them for that. When a father raises a child, a baby boy or a boy, every moment from the time he's wiping his ass on diapers, he's preparing him for manhood. Don't cry. Don't do this. Walk a certain way. Dress a certain way. You reply to words a certain way. Women don't do that.
Based off direct experience as a man.
As a man. Now, number 4 would be women don't give. They look. A woman looks at a little boy, like I said, like they look at him like his children. So when they try to say, okay, when they get to the point where I'm raising a young man or a boy, what they do is they look at the men in their lives. So they look at the men in their lives and they try to emulate the men in their lives through their children. So, and they try to, the way they dress, the way they walk, the way they talk, you know, because a woman can only be a woman, okay? And I mean that by saying this. If you get advice or any kind of teaching from anybody, it has to be from self-knowledge. It has to be from real life experiences. Okay, so I mean that to say this. If a woman is trying to raise a boy to be a man, how can she do that if she's not a man? She can't give him the tutelage that a man perspective can give. She can only give him a perspective that she's seen through her eyes of a man. But she doesn't know.
In her life.
There you go. From the men in her life. Or the men that she sees on TV. Or the men that she wants. Perspective. But perspective is not good in raising a person's child. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important for a man figure to be in a child's life. Now, a lot of times it's voluntary, and the father don't want to be there. A lot of times it's the mother doesn't want him there. But it's sometimes you get these fathers that just don't want to be there for some reason. There are those cases. But if you ask me, the average father, if he had a chance to be in his child, especially the upbringing of his son, a 1 week, one day, a month, or whatever, any kind of inkling of time, he would do that. Without all of the BS of we were in a relationship, we're not in a relationship no more, we was a one night stand. These women are forcing this stuff upon themselves, like I said, because of their ego, and they think that they can do everything. Thoughts?
I agree, absolutely.
So now, that would be number 4. Number 3 would be expectations. If a woman is raising a man, like I say, or a boy, she can only tell him what a woman, what not to do for a woman, or how not to treat a woman, or how to treat a woman. None of that has nothing to do with how to be a man. Treating a woman a certain kind of way with respect and care, or even how you should approach women, none of that has to do with being a man. Because a woman, she has all that knowledge. She knows how you should approach a woman. She knows how a woman will want to be talked to. She knows what turns a woman off, what turns a woman on. Those are the things that she can teach a young man, but are those things that's all game. And then we wonder why our young men today have no respect for women, and all they know is game.
That can go deep.
And all they know is game, because
it's also how a woman allows themselves to be treated as well.
But because they're raised as, oh, you're looking at this. This is what a woman wants. She wants you to have money. She wants you to have this. She wants you to have that. She wants you to dress like this. She wants you to talk like this. This is what turns them on. But all of that is theatrics. It's not even really real life. Like right now, if you ask a woman, a real woman will tell you that money is a turn. They will tell you if they are really like a down to earth woman on a one-on-one conversation, they be like, yeah, we like money if you got it, but we don't like the fact that you talk about it all the time.
They don't want to flaunt it.
There you go. They don't want to flaunt it, but that's not what they're teaching their kids.
They want you to earn it.
There you go. But that's not what the mothers are telling the boys. You know what I'm saying? They're telling them, oh, watch out for this girl. Never trust a female. Where do you think most males get never trust females from? It ain't from fathers.
From females in their life.
It's from the females in their life. All of the negative stuff that is put into men is from females. And this is why, like I said, they can only teach them what they know.
Cautionary tales.
Cautionary tales, but none of that prepares them for manhood. So that is the biggest problem. Like I say, number 3 is that they don't prepare them, and they just really don't understand what they're teaching them. They're teaching them everything but tools to be a man. They're teaching them how to talk to girls, how to, which ones to stay away from, the big butt ones versus skinny ones, the ones that you can tell ain't taking care of the hygiene. They tell them all this stuff, but none of this stuff prepares you for life as a man. Like, now, number two, and one of the major ones is you only can teach, like I said, you can only teach somebody your perspective if you don't have the knowledge. And when you don't give that proper respect for the other person in the child's life, a father, when you, for whatever reason, you take that away from him and you think that you can do it better than him, you are fooling yourself, one. And you're teaching your child. See, here's the key part of this point. You are teaching your child, okay, that's going to be a grown man, that he can not be accountable. There's no accountability for him. You're teaching him everything other than how to be a man. You're teaching him about women, how to talk to them, how to treat women, all this stuff about women, because that's the only thing you can give him, and that's not wrong. Mothers out there, you're not wrong. Grandmas out there, you're not wrong, because that's all you have is your perspective, and that's all you can give is your perspective. Which is my point. To raise a man, you need a man's perspective. Because a man, he cannot tell a woman anything about being a woman, but what he likes in a woman. That's it. If a guy talking to his daughter, only thing he can tell her is, watch out for these kind of guys because they're going to lie to you. They're going to try to get in your pants. All these things from a guy's perspective. But how does that help her be a better woman? You can't, because you're not a woman. So, but that's one of the things that mothers don't take into account when they're raising these kids, and they wonder why they're not in relationships and they're not married. They don't want to be in their child's life because their father. If you don't see a father in your life, you just assume that that's how it's supposed to be done. Because you got to keep in mind, these are children growing to be men, and then manhood it's not like it's something that tells you, they give you a birth date and say when you get this age. But yeah, manhood is something that just pops out on you. Here I am, and you either ready for it or you're not. And women don't take that into account when they meet guys, that how is this going to trickle in my son's life when he sees me with multiple men, when he sees me with multiple baby daddies. So if a father is supposed to, so how is he even supposed to take anything from you, knowledge-wise or anything from you, when you are showing him that you can't even be consistent in your adult life yourself? Because you can't find a man, you can't keep a man, or you got multiple men. And one of these things people, back to what you're showing your kids, and that's my point, is what you're showing your kids. That's number two, is what you're showing your kids. You are showing them that they're not supposed to be with women full time. They're not supposed to be in the kids' life. They're not supposed to be at home at night. They're not supposed to do all this stuff. They're supposed to talk to women disrespectful, because when men talk to you disrespectful. You get what I'm saying? So they are emulating what they see. So number two is the biggest. Stop showing them things that you don't want them to emulate, because kids are like little tape recorders. They are born with an empty slate. They don't know what race they are. They don't know what language they don't know anything but what they see. And I say that's why this is number two. You have to stop showing them things that you don't want to be seen. And the parents be the first person to say, "What did you just say? How did you know that?" Because he got it from you. He's watching the same videos you're watching. How do you think they're going to know all of the dances and all this craziness? And in this era that we live in, it's even worse with social media. When the mom is on the phone, cackling to her girlfriends about this guy and that guy, where do you think them kids at? Listening. Girl, I just got him, blah, 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 and I did this, and yeah, if he give me this, he can get that. And you think they're not listening? Or get off the phone, talking to a guy, yeah, baby, you know I love you. Hang up, be like, that bitch ass nigga, let me call this next dude. Y'all doing it. And for the mothers that's looking at it, you know you've done it. You think them other kids in the other room don't hear you? You think they don't see you saying, oh yeah, I love you, and then call the next guy and say you love him, and then the next guy and say you love him, and you're devaluing the words that you speak to them. You are devaluing love, the word love itself. You're devaluing all of your input that you're giving to him, because now he can't even believe what the hell you say, because he know for a fact you're a goddamn liar, because you're lying to everybody you talk to.
How do you think you can raise a positive male figure?
Yeah. How you?
If you're the most positive
Person in their life.
female in their life, and you projecting that upon
Anybody in a relationship, the man has to be the most accountable person. He has to believe. You have to believe every word that come out of his mouth, which is because when he say I'm bringing home the bacon, and I'm bringing home the food, and I'm when he say don't worry about it, I got it. Bills are gonna be paid. Woman's gonna sit back and be like, you better, because I'm gonna have a lot of chit chat for your ass if it. So the men have all the accountability, but you're showing these young boys that mama ain't accountable. So why should I? Because you don't have that male figure right there to say, when I'll be back with this, I'll be back with dinner, I'll be back with this, and I'm going to go do this, and it happens. That's that accountability. That's that I'm a man of my word. That's that accountability that a woman cannot teach, because she's not showing accountability. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that that's part of a woman's DNA that they just can't shake. Like trying to think they can do everything. But kids see that. I'll give you a prime example, and this is a little bit off topic too, region 2. And you've probably seen this. You'll go to a kid's football game, Pop Warner, right? Mommy's looking out there like she just came from the club. Weave down her back, halter top on, belly button out, heels on a football game, Pop Warner football game. Son coming, he's got barely clean cleats. He's got the same, uniform ain't clean. You know what I'm saying? Bow rats in his hair not combed, hair not brushed. Just like, and in their minds, they think that, that's teaching him to, that's teaching him something, how to be tough, or how to be, he's only gonna get dirty anyway.
Well,
he's a boy. But the little girl come out there, she's bow ratted up, clean pants, dress to the T, because they know women are supposed to not look dingy and dirty. But all you were teaching this guy, this young man, is that he should have no self-respect for himself.
Take no pride in his appearance.
Take no pride in his appearance. But on the other hand, you're instilling in him that you gotta have money, you gotta have this, you gotta have that. But you're giving him low self-esteem, and then when he gets around other young men that have a little something, and this is why we've always had gangs, but we're in such a gang era now, because these young men aren't getting that father figure, and they're getting that miseducation and that miscommunication from home. When they get out in the streets, they go, oh my gosh, so this is what being a man, this is what men do? This is what being a man is like? And they get it from other young men that's older than them. So now you've only failed your son. You pushed him out in the world, and you have the streets raising him, which is taken from somebody who was raised by the streets. Cannot always be a good thing, and it's not always a bad thing, because I had no mother and no father figure in my life. Now a lot of these young men these days don't have those figures, like I say, for the reason that we talked about. But that's the biggest thing, man. These women, they just don't respect these little boys. They think they're supposed to be dirty. They think they're supposed to be, rough. Like it's supposed to. That's gonna make a man out of them. That's not gonna make a man out of them. That's gonna give them low self-esteem, and that's gonna scar them up. Scars knees, elbows, face. And number one thing is the total lack of preparing these men for battle. A woman cannot prepare a boy or a man for battle. When I mean for battle, I mean battle in life, battle in other men, A woman can't teach you how to be the man. She can teach you how to lie to a man. She can tell you how to cheat on a man and how to use a man. But she can't tell you how to throw a jab and a left hook and an uppercut. She's not gonna, they might think they can, but all this, that ain't gonna work. Which is why you have all of these young men out here who can't throw a punch to save their lives, which is why so many of them are using guns and knives, because they can't fight.
You can't take an ass.
They can't take an ass whooping because nobody showed them how to take a punch. So what do they have? They use, if you got a finger, you can fire a gun. Don't make you no bigger, no badder, no smarter, no weaker or no stronger. It just means you have a finger. That's it. It takes a lot to throw a jab. It takes a lot to roll a punch. It takes skill. I mean, look at Floyd Mayweather. Taught by his uncle and his father to fight. You think his mama taught him how to fight? I don't know for sure, but I guarantee you, she didn't teach him how to roll them shoulders. You know? So, I mean, fathers prepare you not just mentally, but physically for battles. How to be confrontational without being confrontational. How many times you ever seen two women walk away from each other in a disagreement about anything? They going at it. That's why they call it cat fight. Two women, I don't care if they're talking about a man, woman, child. They could be arguing with parking space, who ate the last Cheeto. They going at it. There's no bigger woman. Like I say in the comments, tell me I'm full of shit, but that's a fact. When in your life have you ever seen two women just walk away from a confrontation and do it peacefully? Men, we can do that. We have that unseen rule where two men can curse each other out, argue our case articulately, win the argument, and walk away and go have a drink. Together. Men can do that. And I guarantee you, you've seen that. But they're not taught that by men. They're taught cat fighting, which is why their conflict resolution is so terrible. This is why the kids, they're clicking up because they can't resolve a conflict together. They don't know how to walk and talk to a point where they're confident that people won't fuck with them. See, when you have a father in your life, he's going to tell you how to walk, talk, how to look, so people don't even think about fucking with you. How to dress appropriately, how to stand. He's going to tell you when a person's in your personal space what's about to go down. You get what I'm saying? Or how to de-escalate and what trigger words are going to make a motherfucker go from here to here.
Say what you mean to mean what you say.
Men can do that. But women, no. They gotta get broken up. They gotta they gotta be broken up. If they leave, they're on social media. They got their friends arguing with you. They want to see you in the street, man. Which is why we got all of these people with all these so-called ops. Back in my day, we only had enemies. An op to me, back in the day, would be a hater. We love haters. I love haters. Does that mean you was talking about me?
I was on your mind.
Yeah. Talk about me. Like Eazy-E said, there's no such thing as bad publicity. If you ain't talking about me, then I must be doing something wrong. I'm irrelevant. But in my age, if being irrelevant was a bad thing. So now, far as an enemy, see, people confuse ops with enemies. Like I said, an op to me would be a hater. We love those. You got it. An enemy is a person that wants you dead all the time. They wake up and sleep on figuring out how to end your life. Which is why the murder rate was so high when I was coming up, because we didn't let enemies live, because it was literally a problem. Which is why we didn't have a lot of conflict that we let fester. Because if we let it fester, that guy is now my enemy. And you wasn't going to be riding around and getting it with a bunch of enemies. That just didn't work. Because you never knew who was going to kill you on sight. And these niggas don't, back in the day, we didn't miss. So, I mean, these guys be with switches on their guns and 100-round drums. I'm like, your aim is that fucking bad where you need all these bullets to shoot one nigga? I'm like, but, and these are then, once again, things that a father will teach you. Now, when it comes to kicking facts, like I said, I'm only going to tell you my perspective, and you can dispute anything I've said. But when you think about it and you look, you're going to be like, you know what? That motherfucker is right. It's just like, and only advice, I'm not even really giving advice, I'm just talking out because you can only take advice from somebody who's living that life. You can't take rich people's advice from a poor man. You can't take getting in shape from a 400-pound man. You can't take advice about being a father from a guy who's not a father. You can't take advice about a motherhood from a woman who's never been a mother. Okay? You can't take certain advice. You have to know where your source is coming from. And that's a problem with a lot of people on these channels. Talk about men, problem with men, talk about women. You can't talk about, you talk about sex. I mean, you can't talk about niggas with big dicks if you ain't got one. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk about how you popping it, how women, you know, how you gonna, you know, like you need to have a dick need to be this size. The fact is, the average penis is only 7 fucking inches long. That's the average penis. A vagina, the average vagina is only 4 inches deep, 7 inches deep when it's fully erect. Do the math. Like I said, now that's a fact. You can Google that shit. But they have what you call anomalies. And here's the thing, which back to what I'm talking about facts. In anomalies, you might have a guy that's 12 inches. You might have a woman that's 9 inches deep. But it ain't everybody. So you gotta speak your shit into existence. So if you sitting there with a nigga with a 12-inch dick and he's talking about that 12-inch dick life, he's only talking to a very select few of motherfuckers. Which is my point, is about advice. Know where you're getting your advice from. Know what they're telling you and how it actually relates to you. Because it was so funny, and I had a guy tell me this the other day. He was like, he was average. He felt average, right? I'm like, keeping average is not a bad word. It's basically the bar for the average person. Meaning, if 10 guys walk in a room, all 10 of them might be a certain height or a certain color or a certain penis size or a certain skill level or a certain intelligence level. Okay? So the word average, we've been programmed to make it seem like it's a terrible thing. It's not. Average just means that this is the base. That's why they have what they call below average. Because if you can't have below average unless you have a standard average. You can't be above average unless you have an average. You get what I'm saying? An average. So he was like, oh yeah, I'm average, you know, this penis is not that big, yada, yada, yada. And the guy was like, oh, I'm going to get these implants, right? And the penis is going to make your penis big. So it goes, spend all this money, you got this big 12-inch penis, right? Guess who wants to fuck him? Nobody. Nobody wants to do it. You know, nobody wants to fuck this guy because he has this big, gigantic penis, and reality sets in that the average woman is 4 to 7, fully erect. And you might have one of them deep hole girls. That's what though, but they're above average. So unless they're walking around with a card on them saying, I got an extra deep pussy, you basically got a useless dick. Which is back to my point about women raising men, is that they actually think they're giving this bad advice to their kids. They're giving this bad advice, this useless advice, and that does not equip them in the real world for being a man. And they use these things, they realize that it's actually useless. And I would say, the last thing I'm gonna say about this subject, which is really the most crucial, and I would say this is actually number one. This would be number one. This would be number one. Women fail to realize that men, them little boys at some point, that they've been raising and doing all this stuff too, they're gonna have sex at one point. You hear this? They're gonna have sex. Sex is the great counselor of a lot of things. Let me tell you why. They look at you as their mama, right? They look at their grandmother as their mama. But the moment they have sex, they look at you in a total, you're not mama no more. Mama get fucked. Is this what the fuck that daddy do to her? Son, he's giving that nail out. He's fucking bitches in the ass. He's fucking head. He like, damn, mom. Don't kiss me. Why do you think them young girls be like, oh, I don't want kisses from you? When they start fucking, they don't want kisses from you because they realize you've been sucking this nigga dick for a long time. And if you lucky enough to have a father in your life, she's only sucking one dick. Yeah, if you're one of those mothers who be on the phone like this nigga got that nigga got that, he knows like, damn, mommy taking that nail from multiple niggas. She getting fucked in the ass and she's sucking probably a lot of dick. So how can I take her at her word? I mean, and this is what they want to understand. Sex and men, we are sexual beings. Remember, we are the ones who give you the babies to make in the first place. Why do you think when we get puberty, shit changes? They change towards you because they're fucking women and these girls. And you didn't prepare them for that shit. You didn't prepare them for all that. So now they're like, damn, mom, they know what tossing salads is now. They didn't learn from you. They know what it takes, what it means for a bitch to swallow. They know what swallows are now. They didn't get that from you. They know that when they don't now if you busting that bitch out, that shit burns. They didn't get that from you. They could have got that from their father, but he wasn't there to give that advice. You know, and to be prepared. Stay strapped up if you don't want them kids early in life. Fuck your life up. You know, sex is the big equalizer of everything. All that shit you showed him is out the fucking door because now he looks at you in a totally different light. All that advice you gave him about how to look at women and how to do all that did was give him look at you and women in a whole different light.
You got him laid.
You got him, that's it. And I hate to say it, those is facts. But it is what it is. So from back to me preaching my own advice, I can only give advice that I live. I raised my son. My son only knows one father. To this day, he's 30 years old. Don't have no kids. You know why? Because I taught him about that. I showed him what it looks like when you have kids out of wedlock. I showed him what it looks like to be a man taking care of his own. I showed him what it looks like to have a woman that's fuckable and one that's marriable and to have kids with. I showed him all these things. He had his first beer with me. He had most of his first encounters, he had them with me. And he knew it came from a good place because he knew that I loved him and I wasn't going to steer him wrong. His mother gave him some stuff that she was supposed to give him, but he got that balance from both sides, which is why he is the man. So I know I'm a good father, and I am a father, which is why I can give fatherly advice because I am one. If I was a guy out here with 4 or 5 kids and never in their life, I can't go, oh, that's why I got 8 grandkids because he got 2, he got 2, he got 2, he got 2, because you didn't raise them right. Now you look at most of these women who raise these men, and I guarantee you, they got a lot of babies, lots of babies, because of all the reasons I just said. They were taught none of the good things about sex at the end, and how to be a man, and how to respect themselves and respect women. So, and that's just pretty much, in a nutshell. I might have left some things out if I did. Leave it part 2. If you need a part 2 of this, we'll do one. Leave them in the comment section. And if you think I'm full of shit, tell me. Well, explain yourself. Just don't say, Cab, you're full of shit. None of that shit you said is true. Say why you think I'm full of shit and exactly what I said isn't true. But if you look at the people around you, the people in your life, and everything that I said today, I guarantee you, every last drop of it is going to be in your life, or you've seen it firsthand. And it's not a foul against women. It's just that, or foul against men. It's just that we're in a society that doesn't even want to allow men to be fathers, and we think, and we got a bunch of women that think that they can do everything, and we got a bunch of men that's growing up with no accountability. And I'm from the old school. You know, I was raised by women. I was raised by my grandmother and my grandfather. I wasn't raised by my father. I wasn't raised by my mother. I was raised by my grandparents. So I got that both perspective on from him as a father figure. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because a man busts a nut and a woman make a baby don't necessarily make him a father. I got to say that. There are people out there who are father figures. Women, if you have a person that you look up to, you think, it could be a grandfather, it could be an uncle, it could be a man that knows, that has children and is doing it right. He can step into your life and be that father figure for your child. If the father is not there or if he don't want to be there, but don't take it upon yourself just to be like, I can do it all by myself. Don't deny that man that grown ass baby you just spit out, because yeah, he's going to grow up, he's going to be having sex, and he's going to be smoking and drinking and doing all that. That little baby in your crib that you spit out, that's what he's destined to do. The moment he came out of there, every moment, waking moment of his life is going to that. So every moment of his life, if you don't prepare him for that, you've done him a grave injustice and the whole world, exactly. So, like I say, looking for shit. Leave in the comments. If you want a part 2, or you think I left some stuff out, I will read them. And the next Kicking Facts, we're going to start off the first 10 minutes talking about the comments from the last episode that we did. Next week, we're going to do this again. We're going to have a different episode. But before we go, I'm going to wrap things up. You got anything to add to what we're talking about today?
I think overall, women need to stop basing their idea of a man based upon the men in their life. You know, like if you had negative interaction with men your whole life, obviously you want to project that onto your child. So, you know, you got to take a long, hard look inside yourself and figure out what type of man you want to raise.
Yeah. Keep in mind, man, you want to raise.
You want to raise.
Yeah. You're not raising no boys. You're not raising no kids. You're raising a man. And like I say, that's the one thing that you can't do it all. I say, even if a father is not in the child's life, find that father figure. That's why they call it father figure. You know, and I'm not just saying, don't get, and ladies, please don't get me wrong. When I mean father figure, every man that you fuck is not a father figure. Alright? Don't be introducing your kids to every Tom, Dick, and Harry flavor of the week and thinking he gonna raise your kids or teach your kids something. No. You can only do it from a guy who's been a father. He ain't like, it ain't gotta be a married man. Don't get me wrong, it ain't gotta be a married man that's divorced. It ain't gotta be a man that's cheating on his woman. It ain't gotta be, a guy can have 15 kids. If he's a father to all 15 of those kids, he's doing something. Don't get it mixed up with a relationship versus being a father. Being a father ain't got shit to do with having sex. Being a father ain't got shit to do with a relationship. Being a father is being that child's parent, guardian, and making sure that you are instilling in him what he needs to prepare himself for manhood. That's what fathers do. Father ain't got to be sleeping with the mom every night. He ain't got to be. Ain't got to be there. There's some fathers out there who have multiple children and are fathers to all their children, and will refuse to let any other man raise them, and refuse to let any other man call them daddy, except for them. There are those men out there, and I applaud you. And ladies, you should applaud them too. And if you know any of them men in your life, yeah, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Just because they're not, buying you bags and taking you shopping and telling you they love you, their job is to take care of the kids. If they're not in a committed relationship with you and they have children, their job is to raise that boy. So they keep in mind, like I say, men can't raise women. Same thing. Men can't raise women.
Something else real quick. I mean, like, we're not trying to make this like it's totally negative towards women.
Oh no,
women bashing or anything like that. Another message to you ladies out there, young ladies, old ladies, ladies in general. If you're telling your son or your young man how to treat women, demand that you're treated the same way.
Yeah.
Because you're projecting your son, telling your son, hey, you're supposed to treat women like queens. But you don't demand that of yourself. You letting every time Dick and Harry run up in you every other
and
week.
they see that. That's why I say it's about what you show them.
So the man that you're treated like a queen as well, because I know like a lot of ladies have trouble with self-love and caring for themselves. You're number one. You can't raise number two until you take care of number one.
Yeah. And that's why I say it's not a knock towards women, because you got to look at your upbringing. You know, women have it bad, men have it a lot worse. And I don't want to go off script. This is for another episode. It's not like we can go out there and pay our rent with our dicks. You know, it's not like we can go out there and wear a halter top and some underwear and some fucking booty shorts and have a woman change our life. You get what I'm saying? We don't have it like that. It's not, you know, it's not like we can just go out there with our print and go, oh yeah, no. We gotta be at the club draped in diamonds, dressed to a T, smelling good, looking good.
Nice.
You know, driving something nice. You know, women can go to the club with a $10 outfit on, a girlfriend's outfit on, spray some shit, ride in the backseat of a bucket, and come out and thinking that, you know, she needs to be, yeah, you're gonna treat me with respect and buy me drinks. You know, you're gonna buy me drinks. Oh, you, and man, all these demands like, oh, I need a brisk nigga in my life. I'm like, girl, really? But we can't do that. We can't ride in the backseat of our boy with his shoes on and our costume jewelry on and not get clowned out by y'all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's another topic for another day. That's definitely another podcast. I got a lot on that one because Lord knows, but like Brad said, you know, love yourself, and you know, and like I said, raising a girl is hard too, but raising men is something only a man can do. Raising women is something only a woman can do. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. There are a lot of guys out there who do it wrong, who think I got a daughter, I'm gonna teach her this. No, you're doing it wrong. And I know we get a lot of hate for this, but you can Google it. Statistically, in the last 30 years, there have been more homosexual, bisexual, transsexual men and women openly in the last 30 years than any point in history. And that's because, I think that's due to a lot of men raising their daughters negatively and telling them how to be a man, and women trying to raise their sons improperly and not teaching them how to be men. Like I say, Google it, don't believe me. Like I say, these are national statistics. But a lot of that is in there. Because if you take a lot of fathers away from the table and have a lot of women raising men, that's what you're gonna get. You'd be lucky if you get, out of 10 of them, 2 good guys. 5 of them probably be gay. 2 of them probably be in jail. You might get 2 of them that might get his head straight. So out of 10 men, you got 2 of them that's just fucked off break. Because they weren't raised right. But they didn't have that father figure in their life. But like I say, we're gonna wrap this puppy up. That's for this episode of Kicking Facts. Why women should not raise men. CAB.
Bradley.
Till the next time.